Physical Education Component 1, Fitness and Body Systems GCSE paper. Now this paper is 1 hour and 45 minutes, however I will be cutting it down to about 29. Obviously if you would like further depth into this video, then leave it down below and I can do that, and also I will be leaving the walkthrough of the 9-mark questions at the end of the paper for another video. Okay, so for the first question, it is asking us which one of the following muscle fibre types is best suited for use in a 100-metre sprint. Now the answer to that is type 2X, so the answer is C. As I said, this is the way I will be doing this video. If you would like a further in-depth video, as I said, please leave it down below. Second question asks us which one of the following is the correct composition of inhaled air. Now you need to notice that if inhaled air, not exhaled air, so it is D, because you inhale 21% oxygen, 0.04% carbon dioxide and 79% nitrogen. Third question, which one of the following describes a second class lever system? Now with the saying FLE, 1, 2, 3 FLE, you can figure out that the load is in the middle of the lever, which is C. On to the next question, which is about planes and axes. So you really need to learn these because they'll come up in pretty much every single paper one. So for the next question, D. Identify the plane and axes shown in figure 1. The plane that goes across your body, cutting in the middle through your belly button, is the transverse plane, and the axis that accompanies that is the vertical axis, so that's option D. So question 1E asks which one of the following fitness tests should be measured power, which is the vertical jump test, which is D. You need to learn your fitness test and what they measure. Okay, so which one of the following performance enhancing drugs is the athlete most likely to take if they are suffering from a painful injury? Now, an anabolic steroid promotes muscle growth, so it's not that one. Beta blockers slow down muscle tremors and make you calm. Diuretics is help you to lose weight, so that leaves us with narcotic analgesics, which is painkillers, so the answer is D. So the next question is, Tom is 16, has a resting heart rate of 64 beats per minute, and has just completed a 6-week personal exercise program. Figure 2 shows Tom's working heart rate during each week of his training. State the total number of weeks Tom's heart rate has within aerobic target zone. Now your aerobic target zone is between 60 and 80% of your maximum heart rate. And we know that Tom is 16, so our maximum heart rate is calculated by 220 minus age, which in this case is 16. So Tom's maximum heart rate is 204. And to work out how many weeks he's in that training zone, 60 to 80%, you need to do 60% of 204, which is 122, and 80% of 204, which is 163. And by that we can see there's only 3 weeks where he's actually in his aerobic training zone of 60 to 80% of maximum heart rate, which is week 3, week 5 and week 6. So altogether he's in his training zone for 3 weeks. So on to our next question. Jenny is a 16-year-old GCSE P.E student. She has just taken the Cooper 12-minute run test. Table 1 shows rating for the Cooper test 12-minute run test. Which one of the following is the current rating for Jenny? So in this one, we're simply looking for where 2,050 meters fit in the brackets that we have. In this case is above average, so B. So that's the end of the multiple choice questions, which you have 8 marks for. So you can either stop here if you've had enough, or you can continue, and we are going to be moving on to long answer questions. I'll be leaving the timings down below so that if there's a certain topic that you would like to revise, you can just skip to that so it's more useful. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. As I said, this section is long answer questions. So, protection is a function of the skeletal system. Explain, using one example, how the skeletal system's protective functions aids performance in physical activity and sport. So, what I would put for this answer is The skeletal system reduces the chance of injury. For example, in football, the cranium protects the brain so the player can head the ball without heavily damaging the brain. So I would get 3 marks for this because I've given a point, which is the skeletal system reduces the chance of injury. Then I've written an example, which is the cranium protects the brain. And then I have finally linked this to sport, which is so the player can head the ball without heavily damaging the brain. So I would get 3 marks for this question. Okay, so let's move on to question 3. So, figure 3 shows an athlete preparing to throw the discus. Analyze using one example how one of the ball and socket joints in the body allow the athlete to throw the discus. Now, I'm just going to put this in here, but for those of you who don't know what the ball and socket joints are, they are the hip and the shoulder, that's where they're located, and the movement that they can do are flexion, extension, rotation, circumduction, abduction, and adduction. If you don't know what the movements of joints are, I will be doing that in another video. So, the answer I have put is, the shoulder is a ball and socket joint which allows movement in any direction. This allows the athlete to perform flexion and extension of the arm at the shoulder, which results in the correct discus release technique. Now, of course, you could have mentioned the hip in this diagram because it is still a ball and socket joint as well, but I just found the shoulder is an easier joint to analyse. So the point in this question, where I've written the point, is the shoulder is a ball and socket joint which allows movement in any direction. Then I've used an example of the movement that it creates, which is flexion and extension. And then I've linked it to sports and how it allows the performer to throw the discus by saying results in correct discus release technique. And that would, again, pick me up the 3 marks for the full marks for this question. Okay, so I'm only going to do a couple more of the long answer questions because otherwise this video is going to be way too long, but I might do a part 2. So, question 4. Figure 4 shows rowers in a race. The rowers are using a first-class lever system. The fulcrum is this lever system is formed where the oars are attached to the boat. Analyse the role of the first-class lever system in affecting the rower's performance in figure 4. So, what I've put is, a first-class lever has the benefit of allowing a performer to move a large load with little effort. This is important to rowers because they don't have to apply a lot of effort into rowing, but they still can move the boat quickly in the water. So I will get my marks for having a benefit to move a large load with a little effort, and then we need to apply it to the rower by they don't have to apply lots of effort into rowing, and then we can link it finally by saying still can move the boat quickly in the water. So this is going to give us the 3 marks that we need for this question. Okay, so I'm going to be doing one more long answer question, and then tomorrow I will be also posting another video of some further long answer questions for either paper 1 or paper 2. So I've skipped question 7 to finish on a good question. So figure 6 shows a gymnast moving from a standing position A on the beam to a split position B in the air. So the question is, analyse the movement and muscle action at the ankle as the performer in figure 6 moves from position A to position B. So what I would put for this question is, in position A, the ankle is dorsiflexion, which is performed by the tibialis anterior, contracting while the gastrocnemius relaxes in the antagonistic muscle pair. In position B, the ankle is plantar flexion because the gastrocnemius is now contracting while the tibialis anterior is relaxing. So I get 1 mark for saying that the ankle is in position A is dorsiflex, and then we get another mark for explaining how this is performed, which is because the tibialis anterior is contracting while the gastrocnemius relaxes. And then we get another mark for saying in position B the ankle is plantar flexed. And then your final mark is for saying the gastrocnemius is now contracting while the tibialis anterior is relaxing. And that would give you your full 4 marks for that question. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there as I think it is getting quite long. As I said at the start of the video, there'll be a walkthrough of the 9-mark questions at the end of the paper, which will be in my next video. I will also be filming another part 2 to this video, doing either more questions for paper 1 or moving on to paper 2. This was my first time recording this type of video. I was quite nervous when it came to the multiple choice, so please bear with me, and if you have any tips, then please leave them in the comments and I will try to do better in the next video. I hope this has been useful to at least some of you, and if not, that's fine because it's helped me to talk through it. And if you did find this useful, I will make another video for either paper 2 or more of paper 1. And finally, I just wanted to say, if you are taking your GCSEs, I know some of them have been cancelled because if you're in England, they have been cancelled, and they have been cancelled for us, but we are still going to be going to school to do some sort of exam. Please, please, please focus on your mental health as well as revising because it is super important. Hopefully you would have had a good teacher. I had an amazing PE teacher. She helped me with everything, and just good luck.